Alright, so it's a bit blotchy, but you get the gist of it. So let's go, with all that paint work, you're going to see that the lifetime is only on one frame. So let's click and shift, double click on the numbers and go to all frames, and that goes to all of them. So no matter how much you change it, it still stays the same. Alright, so now here's when the real tricky stuff happens. Now it may bite us in the back since we're using one plate for all. If there is some minute parallax changes, it could stuff us over. But for simplicity for this tutorial, decided just to do one simple plate. So let's go to merge and merge this back into the plate. Alright, so now we are also going to have to apply the match move to it. We're going to go to the frame. Let's go to the frame. What was the cleanest frame? And where he's on it, I think it was 32. Let's go to 32, just for a reference, and let's put a transform above the match move. Oh, actually, go back to 32, and let's place that back. I'll probably put the opacity down halfway, the mix on the merge, and let's just to get a proper alignment. And I'm going to put that here just to average it out, and we're going to go and transform, rotate. Let's just get this stuck back on as best as possible. Okay. Alright, so now that we have a good starting point, we are now going to put that back to 1 for the mix. We're going to go to the match move, and in the motion blur, we're going to go to 1. We're going to put the shutter blur to 1, since it's a bit overpowering at some points, and it depends on your shutter speed that you set it to on your camera. So now on the transform, we're going to right click, set key for the translate X, translate Y, and the scaling. And might as well just do the motion blur and shutter speed too. And let's put that to centered for the shutter. And we're now going to go from 16 to 32, middle click on the timeline. And let's just go through it and see how much it stays on. And we're mostly going to animate the transform, since this is going to be the finite moving, and we can go full screen if you want. So let's just see how that plays through. So it tracks pretty well from the start, but we can always do some changes here and there. So from that starts there to 16. I think we can change that a smidge. That stays pretty consistent. That chain's overlapping, which is good. And when this comes on screen, how does that look? See, I don't know if that would be overlapping. Oh, wait, yeah, that's definitely overlapping. So we're gonna have to. So that's the 32, and then it lifts up all the way throughout. So we're gonna have to bring that down. And back on frame, in the middle of 22, we're gonna put that down again. And that stays consistent. Yeah, I think these are definitely copies, but I mean, I don't think much people would take notice of that. Okay, so it's starting to, this is starting to, whoa, what's that? Oh yeah, so this is a 42, so this is when the tracking ends, so let's just go back to 42. Alright, so it skits out quite a lot, so we're just going to go back to the rotate, and we're just going to punch that back into place. I think that even those scaling changes too, so we're going to go back to the merge and just put the mix back to 0. Usually at the end of your track, it usually skits out quite a lot. And I think the cameraman was moving back to that point, so we're just going to put some decimal places in and just to rescale that. And change the rotation. And change the rotation a bit. Alright, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, that's skidded out quite a lot. So let's go back to the mix and put that back to 1. And did I... oh, thank God I keyframed it. Okay, so now we're going to go back. Okay, so I can see where it stuffs up. So this patch here towards... I think it's on... since it's on frame 32, it's cutting off around here. And we didn't quite take that into account. So when it gets to here... on frame 32 again, let's just move that back here. Because I think that's like a bolt. Yeah, that's a bolt. Oh, so that's a bolt, so that's all good. That doesn't matter. But I can see it poking out here, so I'm going to have to change the scaling. So let's go to the X and Y of the scaling, and let's just change the width. And let's push that back inwards. Yeah, that's better. And let's change the rotation. And it's popping out again. I want to try and keep that bolt in place. I honestly do think that's a bolt. Is it a bolt? I think that's a bolt holder. Yeah, that's a bolt holder. That is definitely sticking out quite a bit here. I'll have to change that again. And let's also put a motion blur on that too. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely copied onto it. Alright. So if we just preview what we've done so far. Alright, so I think towards the end of it, it's definitely sort of slipping in by a few pixels, but once you've done this from 9 to 5, the whole entire day, you notice all the small changes here and there. But that's pretty much the gist of clean plating. About 34 minutes so far. That's pretty much the gist of clean plating. I think we can fit in very quickly. I think we can quickly fit in grubbing out the back persons in the background here.